I'm not exactly sure this is a responsibility I was prepared for. I'm going to try and speak in a way in which I feel like he's watching. Last year, late August, September, my wife went to work. I got bored, took my wife's clippers and shaved off all my body hair. My wife felt she had made a terrible mistake, but Kubi looked at me as if I had just discovered time travel. I'll explain you why. In the process of shaving my chest, I shaved it into the pattern of a bikini. Wife didn't want much to do with me for a couple months, but he was blown away. He was so excited. And for the months that followed, all he talked about, he was leaving for Lake Havasu shortly after this encounter, and he had already shaved his chest for Havasu, and he just talked all the time, I can't wait for my chest hair to grow back. He was almost mad that I beat him to the punch. That was our relationship. It was amazing. We had this bond. I go to his house every other day, and our credo was bad decisions make the most amazing stories. And this is the man that in his early 20s, using one stink bomb, made the news and temporarily shut down the New York Stock Exchange. He was something else. He was brilliant at times. I learned a lot from him when he didn't even know he was teaching me. At the same time, he was ambitious, and just his mind was always on the go. Just he had all these ideas. He'd be calling me all the time, new ideas. But at the same time, he had the patience to, at his home, it took him almost a decade, but he trained a wild blue jay to feed from his hand. We'd be sitting in the house talking, and I'd be drinking a beer, and I'll look over, the blue jay comes in, sits on the ground, stares at Kubi, and feeds him. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And I've seen him feed this blue jay from literally every orifice of his body. Speaking after I have videos. None of us are ever going to meet somebody like Kubi. He taught me in some ways, how to be a man. I've been a husband and a dad for several years now, but he taught me how to be ambitious and creative and follow through with things. When he had an idea, he ran with it. He didn't just think to himself, oh, I have an idea. No, he went and he did it, and it was phenomenal to watch his brain work. He taught me things, and I don't think he ever knew. I know he'll definitely be a part of my family's life. I mean, he kept myself and my wife and my children and my brother and my sister and my nephew clothed for 2 years. I wasn't about to let today be any different. The one thing that was the toughest for this was we're not necessarily supposed to understand or agree with God's will, but I trust Him. I wasn't prepared for this, but I wake up every day and he's the first thing that goes through my mind, and he's the first thing I talk about with my wife. And one of the things that was interesting was I'm the social, but I'm like a Labrador. I'm here, there, and everywhere, and I'll call my wife, and we just had a baby a couple months ago, and through process. If I said, hey, I want to go somewhere, I'm going to stop at a friend's house, she'd give me a little static about it and get the third degree from time to time. But she never once said a word when I said, I'm going to go to Kubi's after work. And this was 3, sometimes 4 times a week. She just always said, okay. And shortly after he passed, I asked her, I'm like, why did you never give me a hard time? Why were you so decent about it every time? You never once gave me a hard time, never once asked when I was coming home. And something I didn't know, she said, I've seen his text messages to you. And he valued your friendship, he respected you, he respected me, and he respected our marriage. And I'm so grateful for my wife allowing me to have a relationship that I had with him for the past year and a half. He was, in all different ways, he was my hero. Thank you.